Howdy folks, I'm Silly Spinach, strongly slinging side salads.
I'm Amber.
And here are more side salads for us to sling because we are incorporating ourselves into the salads because we're good spinach and not bad spinach. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Giving My Wedding Dress to My Future Daughter-in-Law Instead of My Stepdaughter? I'm a 42-year-old female and I got married 24 years ago. I decided that if I had a daughter, I would pass the dress and accessories on to her. I chose a simple, elegant dress rather than what was fashionable at the time because I wanted something timeless that people could wear for generations to come. I had my son, Mark, now 22-year-old male. A year after, his father passed away when he was young. I raised Mark as a single mom for several years. I decided that when Mark married, I would give my dress and accessories to his wife. When I was 33, I met Rob, now a 52-year-old male. I fell in love with him and we quickly got married. He became a great father figure to Mark, and I was so excited to have a stepdaughter, Molly, now 24-year-old female. My relationship with Molly had a rocky beginning, and I've been patient and gentle with her. I've offered to take her shopping or get her nails done. I've asked Rob about her favorite foods and made sure to cook those. She made it clear that she didn't want to see me as her real mom. Years passed and I never changed the way I treated Molly. My door was always open to her, but she never changed the way she thought about me. She called me a trophy wife to my face. If I ever threw a charity event, she would remark, "Wow, you're so gracious with my dad's money." While she didn't say anything explicitly, I could tell that she looked down on me for not having a college degree. A couple years ago, I made a final offering to Molly. I brought her into my closet and I showed her the dress and accessories, and I told her that I would love for her to wear them at her wedding. Some alterations would have been needed. I'm 5'9" and size 4, while Molly is 5'4" and size 8. But we could make it work. Molly scoffed and said that I had archaic values and that the dress was trashy and walked out. That really hurt because she knew that dress meant a lot to me and she didn't care. After that, I stopped making so much of an effort to build a relationship with her. 2 months ago, Mark proposed to his college sweetheart, Lucy, with whom I have a great relationship. When Lucy mentioned dress shopping, I showed her my dress. Lucy tried it on, and it fit like a glove. She fell in love with it. And I told her that the dress, shoes, and accessories were hers. She was so happy she literally cried. However, a couple days ago, Molly reached out to me out of the blue to ask if the dress was still available. I had told her that I had given it to Lucy. She asked if I could get it back from Lucy since I offered it to her first, and I told her 1, she said that she didn't want it, and 2, it fits Lucy perfectly, and 3, Lucy is the only one getting married within the foreseeable future. Now Molly is saying that I'm favoring Lucy over her because she's conforming to traditional standards of femininity, getting married and being thin, and that's absolute baloney. But it got me thinking that if the roles were reversed and Lucy was the one asking for the dress after initially turning it down, would I have given it to her? Is Molly right that I'm favoring Lucy? Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, I don't think Opie's being the jerk. Now, I do think Opie could have left out the bit about the dress fitting Lucy better. I think that was unnecessary information.
Yeah.
And could be hurtful to Molly. But Molly had a chance to have the dress and shot it down in a very cruel way.
Oh, yeah.
Lucy, on the other hand, took this gift with graciousness and seems genuinely to adore it. Like, at this point in time, I wonder if Molly just wants the dress so Lucy can't have it.
Oh, that's absolutely the reason. I mean, there's no reason that Molly wants this dress other than it'll sit in her closet forever. She won't even wear it at the wedding. She'll just claim, "Oh yeah, by the way, I was going to wear it, but I didn't." Right?
Right. Well, and Lucy is getting married now, so if both Lucy and Molly want to wear it, Lucy doesn't have to do any alterations.
Yeah.
The same alterations that would have had to have been done for Molly originally would still have to be done. So there's nothing stopping Molly from potentially wearing it in the future, after Lucy's wedding. So it just seems like Molly is doing this just so she can have that piece and be like, "This is mine. I get it. You can't have it."
Well, I also think it's a little more nefarious too. I think that
Yeah.
Molly is doing this because she knows that OP has always wanted a good relationship with her, and she's trying to be manipulative in this case to basically strong arm OP into giving her the dress, even if she doesn't want to, in favor of making sure that the relationship is, good, or that she might have an in with Molly.
And destroy OP's dream of seeing a daughter wear the dress down the aisle.
So yeah, I think that Molly is absolutely doing this out of sour grapes and nothing more. If you can even call it sour grapes, out of maliciousness. I don't know. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Oh no, Sand People says, not the jerk, Molly only wants it because Lucy has it. Lucy recognized how precious the dress was to you and treated it accordingly. Molly turned her nose up in an attempt to hurt you. Lucy accepting the dress sounds like a wonderful bonding moment for both of you. Cherish the memory and ease your mind. You've done nothing wrong. Added to say that if Molly is getting married, I wouldn't put it past her to take the dress and cut it up into something. Oh, I mean, hopefully the dress is safe wherever Lucy has it.
Yeah.
And Wish I Were Beechin says, this is the answer. She found out that you gave it to Lucy, so now she wants it. Listen, she's just going to cut it up and throw it in your face anyways if you give it to her, breaking yours and Lucy's hearts at the same time. Avoid any drama. What's done is done. I also want to point out that OP already gave the dress away, right? You can't just come up behind after somebody has given something away and say, oh, I changed my mind, right? That's not how it works, right? The transfer of ownership has already occurred. Sorry, Molly. Too bad. Alright, folks, and our next letter is titled, I'm a 30-year-old female, and I just found out that my husband, a 32-year-old male, has been lying to his work about my pregnant sister, a 26-year-old female, being his wife. Can I even fix this? Throw away because I'm embarrassed and I don't want this on my main. I'm really struggling right now, and I could use some advice from people who aren't in my immediate circle because I'm too embarrassed to talk about it with anyone else. I'm a 30-year-old, and I've been married to my husband, a 32-year-old male, for 5 years. We've been together for 7, and we met back in college. He was the first guy who made me feel comfortable in my own skin. I've always been more of a tomboy, into sports, preferring jeans over dresses, and my body's more on the athletic side. Growing up, that wasn't always easy, but my husband loved me for who I am and never made me feel like I needed to change. I really thought that I had found the perfect partner. I also have a younger sister, Rosella, a 26-year-old female, and we've always been close. She's beautiful and effortlessly charming, the kind of person who everyone just loves. Our mom has some serious narcissistic tendencies and definitely played favorites growing up, with Rosella being the golden child. It wasn't her fault, and she never asked for attention. In fact, she always has been super kind and supportive, even though she's the type who avoids confrontation and puts herself last to make others happy. So we've never really had any issues between us, but all of those comparisons growing up left me with insecurities that I've never fully shaken. About 2 months ago, Rosella's long-term partner left her after finding out that she was pregnant. She was devastated, and we agreed that she should move in with us for a while to get back on her feet. She's been staying with us ever since, and at first everything seemed fine. My husband didn't seem to act any differently, so I didn't suspect anything was wrong. Well, about a month ago, I asked Rosella to drop off something for my husband at work because I was swamped. I didn't think much of it at that time, and I knew it would save some time. Well, she did, and it turns out that when she got there, everyone assumed that she was his wife. They congratulated him on his beautiful wife and their soon-to-be son, and instead of correcting them, he just went along with it. He admitted that he liked how his coworkers reacted to him having a beautiful wife and a baby on the way, and it made him feel good. One of his coworkers asked him where his wife was at an event. Since Rosella had already dropped by once before, they assumed that she was his wife, and he didn't correct them. It made him feel validated, like he was living up to some ideal that I guess I don't fit into. I didn't find out about any of this until a few nights ago, where we were out for dinner celebrating our anniversary, when we ran into one of his coworkers at the restaurant. The guy asked my husband where his wife was, and when my husband said something vague about her being busy, I felt like the ground had just been dropped out from underneath me. The date was basically ruined, and we went home as soon as we ate. I confronted him as soon as we got home, and that's when he finally told me everything. To say that I was devastated would be an understatement. My husband has always agreed to be child-free. We had a discussion early on in a relationship, and I thought that we were on the same page. I don't have a strong desire to be a mom myself, partly because I have PCOS, and I know that it would be difficult for me to conceive. But now I feel like my husband has been using my sister to live out some fantasy that I could never give him. Rosella has no idea about any of this. When I told her, she was horrified. She kept apologizing, even though none of this was her fault. She feels awful and has even offered to move out, but I can't ask her to do that. She's already going through so much, and I want to be there for her. But now it's so awkward. I can see how guilty and uncomfortable she feels being in the middle of this mess. This situation also ripped open old wounds that I thought had healed. I spent most of my 20s in therapy working on my self-esteem and trying to overcome these insecurities, especially the ones tied to growing up in Rosella's shadow. I thought that I had finally come to a place where I could love myself for who I am, but now it feels like all that progress has been undone. Years of therapy, I feel, have been wasted, and I'm back to square one, questioning my worth and my place in my husband's life. Since finding out, things have been incredibly strained at home. My husband and I aren't even sleeping in the same bed, and we've barely spoken to each other. The trust that we once had felt shattered, and I have no idea how to even start repairing it. I feel so betrayed. If he can lie about something like this, what else is he hiding? Did he think that I wasn't good enough to be introduced to his colleagues? And why has he never talked about me to his work friends before? I'm starting to wonder if he has been hiding me because he's embarrassed by who I am. This whole thing has dragged up every insecurity that I've ever had. I've always felt like I didn't measure up to Rosella, even though she's never done anything to make me feel that way. But now it feels like my husband has confirmed my worst fears. He chose to pretend that Rosella was his wife because she fits some imaginal ideal that I don't. I honestly don't know how to move forward from this. I love my husband and I want to believe that this was just a huge mistake, but it feels like so much more than that. I'm also worried about how this is affecting Rosella. She has been nothing but supportive, but I can see how uncomfortable and guilty she feels being in the middle of this. I'm really struggling here. How do I even begin to address this with my husband without turning into a huge fight again? I feel so low, but I can't stand the idea of a relationship ending. I love this man more than anything. He keeps saying sorry and trying to plan date nights. I'm honestly not in the mood for any of it though. I've cried 2 times and I have binge eat more than I have ever before. How do I live my life now knowing that I'm possibly not enough for my husband? All right, folks, what do you think?
This is such a horrible situation, and I feel so bad for OP. I mean, first, I would recommend individual therapy for OP, so that she can work on processing these traumatic feelings that this situation has brought back up. If she does want to work things through with her husband, and it sounds like she does, then probably couples counseling is in order. They need someone who can help them talk about this, so it doesn't devolve into arguments again and again. And maybe if there's some way like that, the OP can help the sister get a place nearby, or if they have a friend or family member in the area. The sister hasn't done anything wrong, but it might be best for OP's mental health to not have her, as well as the sisters, to not have them constantly in the same place while the situation is ongoing. So, I understand not wanting to kick her out while she's vulnerable and wanting to be able to help her, but it might also help to have them not in the same living space.
Yeah, it might help, right? And I think that this is going to be a very difficult situation for OP to work forward from. And there isn't really a clear solution because the OPs just had their whole world kind of ripped apart. As for what the husband did here, sometimes people can say a bunch of stuff and it can be hard to walk back from that, right? He had a choice and he chose wrong. Now, whatever his motivations were for choosing wrong, he still chose wrong. And the thing is that OP's right. Why has he never talked before about his wife? And maybe he doesn't have a very close relationship with his work friends. Maybe work isn't somewhere that he actually like divulges a lot of personal information. But whatever those reasons, I think that those need to be discussions that you have with him to kind of understand and work through these complicated feelings that you have. And I think that a good place to start with that would be probably couples therapy. I think that this is going to be a really difficult relationship to mend at this point in
Mm-hmm.
time. I don't know if OP actually wants to mend this relationship or if they love their husband, but they want to believe that he just made a mistake. And, you might be able to recover from this, but it's also one of those things where it's going to be really difficult. It's going to be a lot of hard work, and there's going to be a lot of setbacks through working through these.
Right. Well, he lied right in front of OP.
Yeah.
I mean,
He didn't even come clean when when the time came.
Right. Like, I mean, OP has more restraint than I did because if I was, OP in that situation, I'd have been like, your wife is right here. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
It made things really uncomfortable for him because I would have been furious.
Yeah. I mean, I think that would have been the right answer, right? And it feels like they didn't want to embarrass him, but that they did this at the expense of their own feelings.
Well, that's the thing. I getting out of this that I think OP cares more for her husband than her husband cares for her. And that can be a bad situation in a relationship. Like both partners should care a lot about each other. And so I think it's important to investigate what she's getting out of this relationship. What does he actually provide? Is he really being the supportive partner she needs? Or is he benefiting more from the relationship than she is?
Yeah. It's a hard situation, and I really hope wish OP the very best in this. And, as for OP, the thing is that there are other fish out there, right? Well, your husband here has shown his true character. That doesn't mean that there aren't other men out there who won't love you for who you are. And, the thing is that body image issues can be really hard to deal with and struggle with, but there are people out there who will love and appreciate OP for who they are. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Where is the vampire's favorite vacation spot?
I guess the vampire's favorite vacation spot is at Blood Falls.
Great Neck, New York.
Great Neck, New York. I don't know if there's a Blood Falls, but I do know that in the Antarctic, there's almost a blood red water type of thing coming out of the glacier there, and so that's kind of what I had in mind. Maybe that's where vampires go. And I have Earl Grey. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Fantastic Friday, folks. I hope your Friday is off to a fantastic start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on takesy-backsies.
Once you turn down something, you have to expect that it can go to other people, and then you've lost your opportunity.
Yes. And you also can't takesy-backsies terrible things that you've said.
Yes.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.